Welcome back to Unleashed with Mark Morano on TNT. All right, we're talking with Donna Jackson from Project 21. She's the Director of Membership Development. Okay, question. Washington Post recently had their Climate Solutions reporter, that's an actual title of the reporter, do a story about clothing made from human hair being more sustainable than clothing made from animals or synthetic fabrics. Synthetic fabrics, of course, require fossil fuels, and animal hair, like wool, requires animal agriculture, which creates belching and farting and methane. So they want us, and the article actually explicitly says that the floor sweepings of hair that you see at a barber shop should be collected and woven into clothing and shirts. And this goes in line with what Mayor Bloomberg and the C40s report, who wanted to limit us to 3 new items of clothing per person per year by the year 2030. So the question for you is simple, Donna. Will you wear clothing made from human hair in order to stop global warming?
Not one article will I wear. This again is, slavery under a different name. You get 3 items. You get to live in a small box. You can't leave 5 minutes away from your home. Only buses can pick you up and to take you to work and then drop you off, but you can't leave the plant. I hate to use the word, the plantation. This is crazy. They really want people to get used to scarcity. They want to make sure that they diminish people's standard of living. They want to take away mobility from individuals. So they're going to take away your ability to have private car ownership. They want to take away the amount of space you're able to have for your family. It's crazy to think that they want these open air prisons. They call them smart cities. I call them open air prisons, where everybody lives in a little box. Everybody takes public transportation. But during COVID, African Americans got COVID at a larger rate than other Americans. Why? Because they were more likely to take buses. And what do they want us to do? All be on buses. When you have people in small, contained living quarters, what do? You have more violence, just like prison. But what do they want for us? That exact same thing. Everything they're doing is to create scarcity, is to create a sense of fear, is to take away everything that you have. And that is no different than slavery, only you get to go home. These individuals have to be stopped, because it's outrageous to think that we cannot make our own choices. That's what the markets and capitalism is all about.
But they'll say it's to save the planet. CNN had an article recently calling for carbon passports for every American, so that the government could monitor our airline travel to make sure we're not flying. And you had a climate activist named Eric Holtheis who said, in a declared climate emergency, which Joe Biden is threatening to do, you can only fly when it's, quote, morally justifiable, unquote. And one last point, just 2 weeks ago, the German transport minister floated the idea of a weekend car travel ban in Germany because they had to meet the net zero climate goals for the transportation sector. What should people do? How do we fight back against this madness?
I mean, people should not accept this, and they should make it known to the people that are in charge that are passing these. There seems to be this fear of we have to go along with it because of the made up climate narrative. The same people that are advocating for us to stay put and not be able to travel are flying in private jets, living in mansions, multiple homes, driving in stretch limousine. My question to everyone would be, you first. You give up all of your comforts. You stop flying in private jets, stop living in houses over 3,000 square feet, and then we'll think about it. You give up your comforts so that we can have a better climate, because you're the problem.
Let's talk about
push back.
sure. Our southern border A few years back, a climate activist named Bill McKibben wrote an article saying he likes the idea of unfettered immigration coming in from the U.S. southern border because, quote, white America has failed the climate. There's too many white climate deniers. And he believed at the time that all these Hispanics and people coming from Mexico and Central America and South America would come and more likely be to vote Democrat. And we could then get climate action. In other words, he wanted to replace a lot of Americans with these new voters. Do you think these new voters are going to vote Democrat someday, assuming they become citizens? And what should we do about the border in terms of how would you evaluate what's happened in the border under Joe Biden?
You know, the border is outrageous. I'm gonna tell you, I used to live in California. You know who were the most upset about illegal immigration? The legal naturalized citizens that were of Hispanic were Hispanic. That, you know, what they really want is low labor costs. They don't care about any individual. And I think it's outrageous the fact that they would sit there and think that they can bring in and replace a whole group of individuals. There's nothing wrong with our planet. There's nothing wrong with our planet. The only problem is that you have socialists and Marxists that want all the property consolidated by the government and in the hands of a few individuals. And they want to take away the rights of an entire population. First of all, African Americans, and I don't mean to, you know, harp on this so much. African Americans fought for decades to get to be recognized as full citizens. Now you have millions of people, tens of million people, millions of people coming over to through the southern border and getting more rights than African Americans have today. This is outrageous. It's like everything that we worked for was for nothing because they're here, they're just using resources, they're not adding to the economy. And the fact that these grifters are advocating to continue this is shameful. It's really shameful. You know, the most racist people are these elite Black liberals pushing this, these elite minorities pushing this, because at the end of the day, we all are created equal and we shall have equal opportunities. And if it doesn't matter the color of our skin, we are Americans first. I see myself as an American. I have to be reminded that I'm a Black American because I see no difference in my ability to attain the American dream. And it has nothing to do with what someone else does to me. It has to do with the effort that I put forward. And that should be everybody. And we shouldn't allow other people to be pushed in the front of the line because you have a liberal group of individuals who want to add more seats, congressional seats, because they can be added into the census or because they assume that they're going to have voters. I don't believe that it's going to be like that. Everything they're doing is draining the resources of honest tax-paying citizens, and it's not right. Close the border, build a wall, and make everybody wait their turn.
All right. And there's also some indications that the whole woke critical race theory, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion agenda is facing backlash now on some campuses and even some prominent liberals, people like Anna Kasparian of Youngbloods and these progressives who are now saying that it's not working out and it's turning people against, turning race against race, and it's not promoting American values. What do you think the future of this critical race, DEI, all these policies in academia and in the corporate world? Do you see them ending soon, or is America stuck with this new, this new form of, the critical race theory for decades to come?
No, I think it's going to be pushed back. Listen, it was never going to be profitable for a corporation to add a DEI officer that had no ties to the P&L. So they have no ties to making sure they build a better product, have better services. They were just there to find racism that didn't exist. I mean, careerism is always there. We're seeing on college campuses the recklessness that's happening in our education system, where it's not about getting an education, being an innovator, being an individual that can bring products and services to market. It's about activists who are sitting there whose primary goal is to destroy this country. This is the greatest country in the world. They keep saying that we're systemically racist. You know who's coming over the border by the tens of millions? It's not white people, it's Black and brown people. If we're so racist, why are all these minorities dying to come over here in boats, cutting wires, walking miles and miles? Black and brown people are coming to this country in droves. And if they are so convinced that this country is so bad, why would they put all of these minorities through that? It's because it's all a big lie. You know, they think that they have a long game by having potential voters. That's going to turn around, because any individual that sees the opportunities they have in this country better than those of other countries are going to want to be a part of this American dream. Just like me, just like you, just like all of the family members that I have. I mean, all right. We have Black and brown people invading the border because this is the greatest country, regardless of your skin color.
Thank you. We're out of time. Donna Jackson of Project 21, thank you again for coming on. We look forward to seeing you again. This is Unleashed with Mark Morano on TNT. See you next time.